The main reason that postgraduate students wish to run a conference or a seminar is to showcase their research. It's really important to communicate research to other postgrads and to the outside world if that's relevant. So it's an opportunity to get their message out there. As well as that, there are so many reasons to do it that would be beneficial to their development with us. For example, they get experience of working in a team with other students or with academic colleagues, and making decisions amongst themselves, and taking ownership of an event or a conference. They get experience of working to a budget. It might be a very small budget, it might be a non-existent budget, but that's a really good skill to learn as well. And they learn to delegate amongst themselves. And what's really useful, I think, is that they learn to navigate the university system, procedures and policies that we have in place. And that is useful wherever they go in future. If they follow an academic career, that's something they will have to do a lot more of. A lot of the postgrad research events do tend to be quite small. So their speaker, for example, their key speaker might be another postgrad student or an academic from this institution rather than someone from outside the institution. And so it might be a short one-day event in the university where they invite other postgrads to talk about what they're looking into. And it's a chance to collaborate across disciplines as well. So most of them would be quite small like that. Some of them, however, are bigger, and they would, if they invite a speaker from outside the university who's quite well known or well published within that discipline, then it becomes a bigger event. More people would be interested in attending, and they need a bigger space, for example, and they'd want to advertise it more widely as well and get more people involved. There isn't really much difference between conferences, symposiums, seminars, workshops. It just tends to differentiate between the type of discussion that takes place. Is it a speaker speaking to a group of people, or is it a collaborative discussion, which is more of a workshop or a seminar? And is it an opportunity to get feedback, to answer questions, or is it more of a lecture type event, really? So that's probably the main difference. In my session, I talk a bit about what I do to support conferences and what knowledge I can pass on to them, and what useful tips I can give them. So we talk about, for example, venues for conferences, not just the teaching rooms that they are used to, but different venues across the university to consider. I also think about things like catering and stationery and printing, for example. And then I talk quite a lot about how to register delegates and how to take delegate fees from people coming to the conference, if that's applicable. The best resource to read is probably the postgrad conference handbook, which does have a lot of really useful information in there, all kind of filed together. So if you have a question, there's a good chance it's already answered in that handbook, and it's quite straightforward to read as well, and it's available on the artsmethods website. I do try to advise graduate students to give themselves plenty of time to organise a conference. Around a year is fine. They can do it in less time than that, but it's just useful to give themselves plenty of time to think about how many people are going to attend and where they're going to hold it, and exactly how they're going to structure it. And on top of that, I would say that free events are obviously really popular, but sometimes if you want people to commit to attending something, a small fee might actually be better than no fee at all, because people are more likely to come to something that they paid even £5 for, whereas a free event might lead people to think on the day, actually I can't be bothered. So that is something that that would be my tip that I would share.